With the increased presence of the Empire and focus on clones in the past few episodes, I've really started to enjoy this series more, and this episode was no different. It does a lot to set up the two-part finale next week, and I'm very excited to see how this ends. Based on what we've gotten so far, I do think there will be another season, just because there are still a lot of storylines to be wrapped up, but hopefully a good amount of them will be answered next week. I was excited for this episode the moment I saw Crosshair in the thumbnail, because that always means we're going to be getting the Empire. I thought the opening scene was fairly enjoyable, getting to see Echo freeing the clones from the Empire. It was neat to see the group of clones working with him, who all had great armor designs, but I was wondering where Rex is and what he's up to. When we last saw him, it was him and Echo that were going to be going out and helping clones, but he's nowhere to be seen in this episode. It's possible that he's on a more important mission right now, maybe one that connects to Ahsoka Tano, but hopefully we learn what he's up to in the finale. The action throughout the scene wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it was enjoyable enough. For me, the Empire's presence in the story always creates higher stakes and makes me more interested in the outcome, so this was entertaining for me. We then go to Tansis and see that Crosshair isn't the only clone imprisoned, which makes me wonder what exactly they're there for. One of the reasons they care about Crosshair specifically is to find the Bad Batch and Omega, but the other clones have to be there for another reason. Even though the facility is known for its cloning operations, the one thought that popped into my head during the episode was that we could see the beginning of either Dark Troopers or Death Troopers. We learn later on in the episode that the Imperial Doctor was removed from Republic work because of unorthodox methods and experiments, so that seems like the kind of guy that may experiment on clones to create a new breed of soldiers. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of storylines from the season that have to be wrapped up, but I think we will get a tease of whatever they're up to on Tansis during the finale next week. Crosshair doesn't cooperate, but during an escaped attempt, he's able to warn the Bad Batch that the Empire is looking for them. He definitely seems like he's changed after what happened last time we saw him, so I'm looking forward to seeing how his story continues. I assume he'd be let back into the Batch. That would be a bit awkward for them all, but we'd also get to see him survive and have to work through the guilt and remorse of what he's done, which is something we don't get often in these stories. The majority of the second half of the episode is set back on Pabu, which is looking much better after the sea surge. By this point, the Bad Batch have become valuable members of the society here, and I think this could become their final home destination, even if it doesn't happen this season. They're all happy there, and it's remote enough to stay out of the fight. Tech teaching Omega to fly was fun to watch, and it was nice to see Echo back with the group after what felt like forever. Tech is able to decrypt the Imperial data recovered by Echo, and I loved how ominous the next scene was. It does a good job of balancing new information for both the characters and the audience, and leaving some of it still up in the air, to the point where we still don't know exactly what these characters are up against. We learn that the Doctor is named Royce Hemlock, and that he was expelled from Republic Science Corps, and to me this makes him such an interesting and terrifying villain. One of the problems I think the series has had is how there really isn't any overarching villain other than the Empire. We only get a new officer every week or two, but with this person, I think he is genuinely a good villain from what we've seen so far. After what we got this episode, we don't know what to expect from him, but we know he can do some real damage. The Batch also get the message from Crosshair, and while Hunter mentions how it could be a trap, I feel like they're definitely going to rescue him next week to end the season. It's a little predictable, but I do appreciate how they created some semblance of a doubt to make it more interesting. Tipping Point prepares audiences for the finale by bringing the Batch back together in an enjoyable story that raises the stakes, earning a rating of 8 out of 10. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for more reviews like this. And remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.